I'm Daras and I'm the founder and CEO of Advanced Placemats. Advanced Placemats are academic study guides in the form of a placemat. When my kids were in middle school, and this is actually when studying and schoolwork gets a little more challenging and they had homework to do, it was really difficult for them to get it all done. So we started having something that we called study club. They would have a bunch of their friends come over every Saturday and they would get together and study together and do homework together. And it was really enlightening for me because I was able to watch these kids who would help each other when the other was struggling with something. So we made these placemats based on what the kids were studying, but in particular on the things with which they were struggling. And we used their terminology, the way they phrased it, the way they did it, in the form of a placemat. So when the kids were studying at Study Club at our house, we had the old placemats that were multiplication, division, periodic table, and they just were not advanced enough. So I started making placemats out of the things that they were studying. And I would take them over to the local Office Max store and laminate them over there. And then when the kids would study, they would all have a placemat to study from. So we took the content that the kids were studying in class, and I hired students who had gotten A's in the class or 100s on the test, and I hired them to write the study guide for me as if they were writing it for their best friend. And we took that content and then we went to teachers and we said, if kids had an extra month to study for these classes, what would you want them studying? What would you want in front of their face? And then I went to tutors and I said, what's tripping the kids up? What are the biggest obstacles? What do we need to do to make these kids fearless walking in the door? And that's how we developed our content. Then I took and laid that out and designed it into a placemat form, and that's how we developed our placemats. We did it in placemat format. You wouldn't think that kids would want placemats. I mean, they're not using bibs either, but the fact is they're sitting down and eating at the table, and this is sitting under them, and that's a lot of extra time that it could be sitting in front of them. So we made it in the placemat format so that they could use it at any time, whether it's sitting at the table for dinner, whether it's sitting at their desk, whether it's in the backseat of the car or the bathroom or their gym bag when they go to sports. We wanted it something that they could take anywhere. Okay, so I get it. We are busy families. We're not eating 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, sitting at the kitchen table. But even if our kids are only eating 3 meals a week for 10 minutes, let's say breakfast 3 times a week for 10 minutes. It's probably more, but let's make the math easy. 10 minutes 3 times a week is 30 minutes in a week, times 40 weeks in a school year is 1,200 minutes. That's 20 extra hours of having this information in front of our kids. That's 20 extra hours of study time, and that's the one thing our kids don't have, is any extra time. 20 hours of extra class time is the same thing as going to a 1-hour class 5 days a week for an entire month. So we like to say, if you've got time to eat, you've got time to study. We have content that goes from middle school all the way to freshman year in college. We have pre-algebra, algebra, we have physics, we have calculus, we have chemistry, we have pre-chemistry, pre-biology. So all the subjects basically from 4th grade all the way to freshman year in college. So what's different about Advanced Placemats is this is a product written by students for students. So I noticed when my kids were learning to play the game Fortnite, they were on the computer watching someone else play the game. And I was saying to them, why are you watching someone else play the game? Why don't you watch someone else teach you how to play the game? And my kids said, no, I don't want to watch someone else teach me how to do it. I want to watch how someone else does it so I can learn the way someone else does. And that's the real beauty of this product. Advanced Placemats is written by high-achieving students for other students who wish to do the same. I made Advanced Placemats because this is a product that I wanted for my kids. It wasn't out there, so I made it myself, and I'd love to be able to share it with you.